Hello everyone. How y'all doing today? Well, the topic and the question of the day is, who does marriage really benefit? And this is a question that is really for my younger ladies, the younger ladies, the ones from like 18 and from 18 to 30s. That's a question you should ask yourself before rushing and hopping to get married. Take all of the fairy tale bullcrap you was taught growing up out of it. In reality, we were conditioned to believe that it benefited the women. It was meant to benefit both the man and the woman. But in many marriages, this is not how it is. This is not what I saw growing up. When I was growing up, I saw marriage only benefiting my dad, and my mom had to do most of the work while dealing with his toxic BS. I grew up in a house of domestic violence, and when I said domestic violence, I really mean domestic violence. It wasn't just arguing, it was knockdown drag outs. It was cutting each other, seeing blood, choking one another. Police stayed in and out of our home, and a lot of times I would call because I was scared somebody was going to get killed. Mainly I was scared my mom was going to get killed by him, or sometimes I was scared that she might accidentally kill him. I used to have nightmares about him killing her. That's how bad it was in the house I lived in. It was a toxic two-parent household, and that's something that they don't like to talk about in society. They only want to talk about, oh, a child who grows up in a two-parent household turns out fine, turns out great. But they don't tell the other part about, well, it has to be a healthy two-parent household and not a toxic one. Who does marriage really benefit? This is a question that I want you to ask yourselves individually, because it varies in different realities that the individual lives in. In my reality, it only benefited the men. Some women would say the men need to be there for protection, but if they're the ones doing the terrorizing, who's going to protect the family? Who has to do most in the marriage? Who has to risk their health to have kids if the husband wants that? Who has to do all the work inside and nowadays outside the home? Who has to raise all the kids? Who has to do that with no appreciation at all? Who has to deal with the husband telling them that they don't do anything? And to be told that what they say don't count, that only what the husband say counts. I'm gonna let you answer that. I'm gonna let you sit on that for a minute. Just think about that question. Think about all those questions. From my point of view and what I saw growing up, marriage only benefits the man. And for a long time I thought it was just me who saw it this way. And this is why it took me a long time to get married, because of the reality I grew up in, and I was in fear of going through the same thing I saw my mom going through. And I saw my dad in every man. That's how it psychologically damaged me. In my 20s, I lived my life in great fear and depression. When I was witnessing what I was witnessing growing up, I always said I'll never marry a man like my dad. But because he was a man, I saw him in every man. And I thought it was probably because of the reality I grew up in. But now I'm seeing that other women grew up in that same reality and have the same mindset as me. Check out this video that's on TikTok.
We saw our moms go through shit with our dad. You're talking about, oh, well, you're never going to get married. Okay, my mom got married and she served my dad hands and feet and she ended up divorcing him because she was sick of his ass.
Because
It's
you
only
get
so much you can
tired.
take.
It's not even just take. You just get tired. You get burnt out for constantly having to care for someone like they're your child.
Literally, I do not remember my mom ever eating.
Which is
She cooked
crazy.
dinner for my mom, for my dad, for my sister, and for me. And I can't recall a moment when my mom sat down to eat because she was eating while cooking for us because she didn't have the time. You think that I'm gonna do that?
That's sad. As a child, looking at your mom, that's sad to witness.
Right. You need to understand why I'm such a savage and why I'm so angry. You know what I'm saying? Thankfully, I have a boyfriend that understands, that's considerate of me, that knows that if I cook and sometimes I want to serve him, I'll serve him. Right. But sometimes when I say, yo, the food is ready, come get it, he has no problem.
He knows what that means.
And then after that, he goes and washes the dishes to help me out.
Because it's an equal
Come
partnership.
on.
One hand washes the other. It's not give, and then you just take. Like that's not how it works.
Well, what happened? I thought that they were talking about how these women were so submissive, how they were getting all of this. This is what they want, right? But this woman said this is why she's so angry and she's a savage.
See, now I know it's not just in my mind. So this is why I'm asking young women to ask themselves this question before they rush to the altar. Who does marriage really benefit in most cases? Because not all men are like or as vicious as my dad. But at the end of the day, men are still men. They're gonna they're gonna they're gonna look out for their own welfare and put you last anyway. They're gonna put their own manhood first. With knowing this, you should put yourself first. You don't have to rush to have kids and get married. You can do that later on. Live your life, explore, work, make that paper, buy you some land, buy you a house. Then if you want to get married, you can get married. I don't regret getting married later in life. What I regret is bull jiving and wasting time in my 20s. I should have been about my business. But I don't regret getting married later on in life. See, society will tell you to get married as early as possible and have kids as early as possible. Society will tell you that you are nothing if you're not a wife and a mom. And that's not true. You are you. With or without kids, you're always going to be you.
People are getting married much later in life, or they're not getting married at all. And the newest research points out that single women, no kids, are the happiest subset of humans on the goddamn planet. Explain that.
Y'all let me know about how y'all feel about this topic. In your opinion, who does marriage benefit? Who does marriage really benefit? The man or the woman? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Peace.